What's going on? What's going on? You boys, SteezyASmith in the building.
Hey Team Steezy, how's it going? My name is Eddie. We'll forego the introduction for now. Let's talk baseball. Coming up first, it's the American League. The New York Yankees taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, all the way down in San Diego, California. How about that? The Yankees wasting no time putting the regular season woes behind them as they took on the Indians in the Wild-Card, punching their ticket to the American League Division Series with 22 runs in their two-game sweep. Front and center for New York, Gerrit Cole. Over 7 innings, he struck out 13 in his first game outing. Those that know me the most know that my keys to life are known as the 3 Bs, and that is blondes, boats, and baseball. But for the New York Yankees, it seems to be the 3 Gs, Gio, Gary, and Giancarlo. Of course referring to Urshela, Sanchez, and Stanton alike, leading the offensive charge of the Yankees in the wild card. Not to be outdone, Tampa Bay made quick work of their wild card opponents, sweeping the Toronto Blue Jays. We actually got a grand slam in that game from Hunter, ain't that something? Now, chances are the Yankees are going to start Gerrit Cole again for Game 1 against Tampa Bay. And if I had to guess, Tampa Bay is probably going to start Blake Snell against him, which would be an awesome game. And actually, you know what? By the time I record this, they've probably already made a decision. Alexa, who's pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays?
Blake Snell is the probable starter for the Rays tomorrow.
Awesome. I'm keeping that. That's funny. Okay, so there you go. So we have a pitcher's duel, probably. Blake Snell, Gerrit Cole. That's going to be a great one. Because the pitching is going to be so great, though, the Yankees' other key to the game is going to be honing in their plate discipline. I don't want to go on a huge tangent here, but I happen to notice that when players find their way to the New York Yankees, they have a tendency to swing at everything. The key is going to be to wait for their pitch. Then, and only then, they'll make it happen. Now, Tampa Bay's key to winning the series is going to be just keep the status quo. They've outplayed the New York Yankees this season in the regular season, like 8-2 or something like that. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but if that's not a good enough key to the game for you, here's the backup key to the game. The other key to the game is going to be utilize that bullpen, man. Now, Tampa Bay's got this pitching staff that reminds me a lot of the 2010 San Francisco Giants pitching staff. And if you remember correctly, that was enough to do the trick. And if you don't remember correctly, they won the World Series. That's what happened. They won the World Series because of their great pitching staff. Moving on. Houston Astros take on the Oakland Athletics in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium. There is quite a bit to unpack here. Look, everyone hates the Astros. But the other teams in the American League West really hate the Astros. But the Oakland Athletics specifically really, really hate the Astros. The Oakland Athletics have been very open about their belief that the Houston scandal robbed them of a proper postseason for the last couple years now. This will be Oakland's chance to set that record straight. It's worth mentioning that the current A's pitcher, Mike Fears, used to play for the Astros. He was one of the first whistleblowers in that whole scandal. Now, the Houston Astros, on the other hand, they're at a flashpoint in their own history. They're coming off the biggest World Series scandal since 1919. And they got a pretty tough break with the loss of Justin Verlander. So now they're without their star ace, now they're without their camera set up in the outfield, now they're playing for real, and they're here to prove their legitimacy to the rest of us. To win, Oakland needs to keep their heads. They need to keep their cool. We saw what happened when these two played each other earlier this season. We had that fight break out, a bunch of people got suspended, and that is carrying on into this series. Oakland wants to make a statement. The thing is, and this is so funny because I just mentioned this with the Yankees, when this happens, you're going to start swinging at just about everything. So I'm going to say it again, it's plate discipline also this time for the Oakland A's. Wait for your pitch, make it happen. Houston's got a pretty good pitching staff too, even in the absence of Verlander. Their key to beating Oakland is in fact their own pitching. This time around, however, they'll likely be looking to their bullpen for more longevity. Alright, off to the National League now. It's the Atlanta Braves taking on the Miami Marlins at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Let's get this out of the way. Let's cover the first base here. And that is that the Miami Marlins very rarely make the playoffs. But golly Miss Molly, when they do it well. The Marlins, get this, the Marlins have never lost a playoff series ever in the history of the Marlins. Psst. That means they only win the World Series when they make the playoffs. Atlanta deserves some credit, okay? After holding Cincinnati scoreless for 22 innings straight, I do believe they deserve some credit. This one will see some solid pitching from Miami's Sixto Sanchez and some run support from Brian Anderson as well. Atlanta's young talent comes in the form of Ian Anderson, who only allowed a couple hits in his last go. Okay, who am I kidding? You guys don't want to hear about this. You want to hear about the San Diego Padres taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers in Arlington, Texas. This is the one everyone's talking about. Let's just get to it already. I'm going to keep this one a little loose. I have a lot to say about this one. Let's start off by talking about the San Diego Padres, all right? The Padres have been such a hard team to root against, man. I'm a sucker for a good underdog story, and you have this team that have been so bad for so long. And out of nowhere, not only are they good, not only are they great, but they're also just fun to watch. They are a very entertaining, high-energy team, and I love that. And because of that, it is an absolute shame that this season took place in an empty stadium. Don't get me wrong, I'm well aware that you fans down there have been partying super hard this weekend. I've seen the videos of Padres fans going ecstatic. That's great. Keep that energy up. But they got to agree with me on this one. Don't you wish you could be in the stadium while this is happening? I'm getting distracted. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they're just doing what they have been for a while now. And it's this business as usual that may very well put LA in yet another World Series, especially now that Clayton Kershaw has seemed to have found his mojo, finally, when it counts. My concern in regards to pitching is actually with the Padres. It's the rotation. Actually, it's their bullpen, too. I was not impressed with the pitching staff overall during the wild card. They went through way too many pitchers way too quickly. And we all know how unforgiving the batters in LA can be. We'll get to that in a second. If these mistakes manifest, the Padres will have no choice but to look towards the dynamic duo Fernando Jr. and Manny Machado, who have been leading the way for the Padres all season long. But the Dodgers have their own their own duo as well. Mookie Betts and Corey Seager have been leading the show for a good time now. So they'll be giving their teams some run support along the way. Now, especially if we see more of Clayton 2.0. By the way, I know I'm singing the praise of Clayton Kershaw. Let me point out, I am a Giants fan. I don't like the Dodgers that much, but I recognize good pitching when I see it. And Clayton Kershaw seems to have found that missing link, whatever it may be. He's on the precipice of fulfilling this team's destiny of winning the World Series for the first time since 1988. The only thing standing in their way is this super energetic young team. There's just so much riding on this game, and for that reason, I have to say that of all the 4 series I've covered today, this is the one I'm the most excited about, and this is the one that you should be the most excited about. Just a little bit more than that Oakland versus Houston series. I want to know which one you're the most excited about. Let me know in the comment section down below. And before we wrap this one up, I just want to say thanks to Steezy for having me. I personally am not really active on social these days, but you can find me on Instagram at Mabanglo for pictures of my travels throughout the industry. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next round.